Let's talk about ticks. They are the last thing we want to think about when we're planning our outdoor adventure, but they're now out in full force, and with one bite, these tiny bugs can change your life. That is why it's so important to know the possibilities, how to protect yourself, and the signs that something may be wrong. So here to talk us through it all is Dr. Graham Hickling. He is an associate professor at UT with an expertise in how wildlife diseases can actually impact your life. And with that, we say thank you for being with us.
That's fine.
So this is tick season. Are we getting ready to peak, or where do we stand in this season of ticks?
Late spring, early summer is pretty much the peak. Different ticks come and go at different times, but several of them coincide right now. Okay. And so it's the time of year that they're getting on pets, and pets are coming into the home, and then they're falling off and getting on us.
Okay.
A little bit later might be when it peaks out in the woods. So if you're going hiking, we're just coming up to the peak for that.
Yes, I found one on myself the other day when I was out and about. So yes, you have to be very aware about it. Let's talk now about the diseases that come along with ticks. I mean, we hear about Rocky Mountain spotted fever, Lyme disease, but go through all of them that we should be aware of.
Sure. Here in Tennessee, there's really four that we want to be keeping in mind. And the one that people have heard about is Lyme disease. And it's actually not top of the list here in Tennessee. The reason we hear so much about that is that that's very common up in the Northeast. It gets a bit less common as we come south. So the top of the list here is Rocky Mountain spotted fever. And there are some other fevers that are similar. So we talk about the spotted fever group. So Rocky Mountain spotted fever is the worst of those, and it can potentially kill you if you don't get treated. There are other ones that are a bit milder. So that's number one. Then there's ehrlichiosis, which a lot of people haven't heard about, and it's impossible to spell. But that's a disease both of, for example, dogs, but also of humans, particularly people that are a bit immune suppressed. So elderly people, cancer patients, people on immune suppressants. So that's actually quite common in the ticks, but most of us seem to be able to fight that one off. And then I mentioned Lyme disease, so that would be number three. And then the new one on the block, as it were, is alpha-gal red meat allergy. And so that's not a disease in the way the other ones are. The others are all bacterial diseases. You can treat them with antibiotics. Red meat allergy is an allergy, and it's triggered by a sugar that's in the spit of the ticks. It's actually literally in tick saliva, and it has this weird effect where it can trigger people to become allergic to red meat. And it can be very long lasting. It can literally last for years. It varies. Some people recover in a few months. Some people are still suffering several years onwards.
So, Dr. Hickling, say someone is bitten by a tick and they start exhibiting some symptoms. When should they go to the doctor?
Well, what we say is if you feel like you're getting the flu, so if it's kind of like a summer flu, kind of out of season, it's a bit odd to be feeling like that, go see a doctor at that point. And one of the things I say is, just say to the doctor, I've been potentially exposed to a tick and I don't feel good. Don't label the disease. So there are several of these, all will feel pretty much the same, and the treatment will be the same, but there are tests that will tell them apart. So fevers, aches, obviously a rash, but really Lyme disease is the only one that has a rash early on. It's a very distinctive rash, so that's
it's like a bullseye, correct?
That's right, and it's big, and it doesn't itch. One of the common rashes you get with a Lone Star tick is a small, red, really itchy rash. So that's not Lyme. If it's itching, it's actually good news.
So with that, what can we do to protect ourselves as we're going out for spring and summer?
Well, you can put repellent on your skin, and so just something like DEET, just like you'd use for a mosquito, is fine for that. You can also, and this is what I really recommend, is put a repellent insecticide on your clothes, particularly below the waist and particularly below the knee. And so there's permethrin, which comes in a bunch of different brands, but if you go on Amazon.com and just go permethrin, you'll find compounds. It doesn't go on the skin, it goes on the clothes, but it will last. It will actually last through several washes, and you can top it up. So you can buy permethrin impregnated clothes, but you can also basically treat your own jeans or pants. So do that, and then be a fashion don't, and tuck your pants into your socks, or wear high boots and tuck your pants in there. So the ticks are coming up from the ground.
Right.
They're not dropping out of trees. So if you've got one on your shoulder, it's climbed all the way. So that's why I say kind of like below the waist is where you want to really try and maximize the repellency.
It's okay to have that fashion faux pas. You're going to protect yourself.
I think it's worth it, yes.
Well, Dr. Graham Hickling, we do appreciate your information and getting us ready for summer.
You're most welcome.